computer. All right. All right. Well, welcome. And now that we finally got most everybody here, I think. So thank you for coming. This is our last night for this group. It's been a fun group to meet with.
It has been.
I've appreciated all of you and your input along the way.
Well, I can see you, but I can't bring up my picture.
All right. Can you see us?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, let's start with prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for the time that we've had this last 21 days with each other and sharing celebrations and sharing frustrations and just having someone to talk to. I think has been really nice to be able to do that. And it's also been nice to see people's faces. So thank you, Lord, for being with us and helping us be with us tonight as we finish up this 21 days and think about where we might go next. In your name, amen.
Amen.
So now I'm going to try to share my screen. Let's see what happens here.
There you go.
Yep, you're up.
Okay, so I've got all these little screens here. So what we'll try to do tonight is we'll do Joy, Junk, and Jesus. I think that'll be a good way to start. I'm going to share a few more resources with you and spend a little bit of time reviewing the last 7 lessons, and then a few more things to talk about what's next, and then have some time, and maybe the celebrations and questions and comments will come as we go. So we'll see how we go with that. So let's start with Joy, Junk, and Jesus. And I think what I'm going to do is switch off of the, stop the sharing so we can see each other's faces when we're doing that part. Does somebody want to start with their Joy, Junk, and Jesus for the week?
I'll start.
Okay.
My joy is my cousin Ruth that lives in New Jersey has been a diabetic since she was a very young child, and she had to undergo a kidney transplant at the end of June, and it wasn't functioning, and they couldn't figure out why. And she sent a Facebook post on Monday, and her prayers and the prayers from people across the country have been answered, and it's functioning, and she's doing well, or doing much better than she was before. So that's my joy, that prayers were answered for my cousin. My junk is that a dear friend that I've known for 40 years probably has Huntington's disease, and she is now so at a point that her family is going to have to put her at Edgewater Vista, the memory care facility. And she's a vibrant, giving Christian woman, and just to have to think about that her family can't visit her there because of COVID. And so when they put her, when she is admitted there, it may be the last time her kids get to see her at, in any way alive. And so that just is my junk for the week. And my Jesus is my stepmother. I go visit her about 3 or 4 times a week. She lives at the Springs, and the beginning of COVID, she had a major heart procedure. And so they've allowed me to come in and do care for her because she lives independently. And she's just recovered amazingly well. And she's just a true gift. And today we were talking about, she and I have known each other. She and my dad were married for about 16 years before my dad passed away. But we knew each other for many, many, many years before that. And so we kind of have a shared history with the church we belonged to and people we knew. And so today we were talking about this one woman in particular that was, everybody kind of looked at her as, just this saintly person who loved and cared for everyone that she came across. And so we were talking about people who, there are a lot of good people in the world that we get to know, but not a lot of people that we're blessed to know. And my stepmother is one of those people that I am blessed to know. She's just an amazing person, and I'm really grateful for her. So that was my Jesus this week.
Awesome. Thanks. Anybody else?
I'll go next. My joy this week has been getting this little surprise ready for my daughter and baking and cooking. I've been doing it all week, just getting all this stuff gathered and frozen and ready to take over to her because I know it's going to be a surprise for her and ease her burden a little bit. My junk is that my very bestie, that's from Conrad, that has been my best friend for 50 years, called this week because she was having to make a decision. Her dad's in the nursing home over there, and one of the caregivers over there had COVID. And so they tested everybody, and everybody was negative, but her sister was wanting her to take her dad home. And, so we had a little discussion because I know what it's like having my mom next door. And, finally we came to her sister can't help, and so we finally talked about how, once you have him home with you, you can't go anywhere. That's how we are. You can't go anywhere. Your husband can't run to the lumber yard like he does in a little town like that where they don't have much, they do that. And I said, do you really think that you can take better care of them there? And at that point they had tested everybody, but now they found out that so far nobody else has any. They'll test again. It was a really tough decision for her, but he's 98 years old. And she said, it's so, because she didn't want to have to leave him there if he dies or something like that. But yet at the same time, to take him home now, it's for indefinite, and stuff. So, and he falls a lot and stuff. So I think she decided this week that she can't take better care of him at home, and stuff. My Jesus was, we have a very, very dear friend that went in to have a procedure like Albert to have a stent put in and found out he couldn't have a stent. And instead, 2 days later, they did open heart surgery, which was yesterday. And it was a, several hour procedure and very difficult. And he's got some other health issues, but he came through it just fine. And he's just this super, super Christian man that sings Christian music and has probably brought a lot of people to God just with his personality. So zillions of people were praying for him. You can see it on Facebook. And he came through all good. He's got like 5 days in intensive care and then 6 weeks of rehab and then 6 months of therapy. So, but still, that's a tough one when you have to have the open heart surgery where they actually split you open. So that was my Jesus. I saw Jesus there because I know how many people are praying for him and stuff, and he's just a blessing of a man. So.
Awesome. Thanks. Somebody? Well, I could do one. I guess my joy was we took our grandkids camping up to Sealy, and we had just a wonderful time. They were so good, and we just got to take a couple hikes, and Bethany did the hikes with us, and actually Freddie did almost a whole part of one too by walking. It was just delightful, and they were just so fun. My junk, didn't really have a lot of junk this week. I think I've had a really good week, so that's kind of a blessing. And my Jesus was, I think that I saw that my daughter, who is starting a new job in Boston, outside of Boston, and she's got some health issues, and the phone calls that I think that we've gotten from her, she just sounds really positive, which is just awesome for her and for us to see that, and she's doing a good job. So that was my Jesus, that the prayers have been answered, and she's been able to manage all of that. She's on her own. Her husband's still in Louisiana for a little while longer. So anyway, that was my Jesus.
You guys have all these good stories, and I really don't know what to say. I guess my joy was helping my aunt when I was in Butte recently to declutter her garage, because her garage was full of boxes of stuff that she didn't even need. It was full of knickknacks. So I was able to go over there and I helped her out. And that made her feel good to have a clean garage and to get rid of a lot of stuff that she didn't need. And I got to spend time with my cousins, 6-year-old and 2-year-old. That was a blessing. And I don't know. And the other one, what is it called?
Your joy, your junk, the things that
the junk was 2-year-old terrible tooth. And then the Jesus was being able to come back home to my apartment, and I had it cleaned before I left, and then being able to come back home and have a nice clean apartment after doing all that work over there in Butte helping my aunt was really refreshing, and it made me feel good.
All right. Thanks.
Well, I'll jump in. My joy this week is Dick and I and my brother and his son Zach and our son Dan, we all got our antelope A permits,
Ooh.
which either sex antelope this year. So we're planning our big annual trip down to Lima. And my sister-in-law, Carol, is coming to do the walking, and possibly our son, Mike.
Wow.
And so it'll be one big family get together. That'll be Columbus Day weekend, Friday through Sunday. And we're contemplating 80% sure that we'll have all of our family home at our house for Christmas, probably in the first time in about 15 years.
Wow.
So those are two really joyful things to
Mm-hmm.
be planning. Junk, I have no junk this week. Everything has just been going beautifully. The weight release is going beautifully. I can't be happier. And well, let's see, my Jesus, well, I still have to think on that one.
That's okay. Sounds good. Thanks.
Yep.
How about you, Marilyn?
Well, I've been thinking about it, and it seems kind of like my junk and joy are the same thing. I have been struggling in a class on Zoom that I'm taking on, well, not struggling, but on coaching, and I've been looking for somebody to coach, and I've just had setback after setback after setback, asking some of my friends back in Seattle, and nobody answered the emails, not one. And then I asked some classmates from a class I took in March, and nobody answered. And so I was into the oh poor me's, which was my junk. And then I just had somebody ask me the question, what's your relationship to being a victim? And I thought, I'm not a victim. I can do this. So I just kind of got mad and, pulled up my big girl panties and said, let's start all over again and try it. And I asked some different people in the class, and one person responded yes, that he would like to do it. He's in Chicago, so we deal with a little bit of a time difference. So that was happy. And then I talked to the teacher in the class that I'm taking now. And I mean, this man was born to teach. He is so good. And so that was really a joy. And he's very healing in how he expresses the gospel. So I think it's my joy, junk, and Jesus all at the same sort of encounter. And I know that it was joyful and very healing, because after the conversation, I went and cleaned up 2 bookcases that have been on my to-do list. I cleaned up my sewing room. I knocked out 4 projects that have been lingering since the beginning of July. So I've been able to start on my to-do list without being in a funk. So I didn't lose any weight, but I think some of mine is due to medication that I take. And the doctor has said that the medication will make it hard to lose weight. So I was happy I lost 4 pounds, 2 weeks ago, and just so I'm not adding anymore. So that's, in my book, that's a plus.
It
Yeah.
is.
That's a plus.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What do you coach? What are you talking when you say you're coaching?
Well, it's kind of life coaching, but kind of within the church and helping people look at something they want to do. And what this guy did for me was coach me in my problem. And he said, well, what's your relationship to a victim? That could be seen as confrontational a little bit, but it's exactly what I needed. Because, I said, oh, hell, I don't want to be a victim. So, so you look around and nobody else is around. So I guess I got to do something about it. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting.
I was just last week when you said you were taking a coaching class, I thought maybe softball or volleyball. I didn't
Oh,
realize.
no,
Okay.
no. No.
All righty. So thank you for sharing. And yeah, it's interesting how we all have different little pieces that we do. I did want to share, I sent an email out with this weight release spreadsheet. And I just wanted to explain it a little bit in case you had questions. There's 3 sheets. And I use it to track, like the first one is my weekly weight. So I just put the date and the weight and any celebrations, like when I get to wear a size smaller pair of pants, that's a big deal. Or, maybe if there's a reason why I didn't lose weight that week, or, a celebration, sometimes it was when something comes up and, you just have those kind of weeks, and that's the way it goes. So, but that's that one. The second page this one is where you can track your weight, or your weight and your measurements. On the first, at first I was doing it the 1st and the 15th of the month, and then I found that was just too much. So now I only do it on the 1st of the month, or the 31st, the last day of the month or the first day of the month, depending on, usually it's which day I have more time. And I have the weight. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the BMI, the body mass index. There's a link there for the body mass index. And what you do is you plug in your, it's a little calculator, and you plug in your weight, and then you plug in your height, and then it calculates, and then it tells you down here where you are. So it just says right now for me, I'm, your recommended weight is between 114 and 145. And then, so I'm getting close. I'm getting close to 145. That's kind of a nice thing. And then at this point, I'm considered overweight. When I started this, I was obese. So, that's another one of those victories that you can find that are kind of cool. So,
Nancy, I'm not sure I saw that in the email.
it was an email, and I attached this as a spreadsheet.
Okay. I thought you attached this one. This is the one I got.
Oh, well, maybe I didn't attach the right thing. That's
Well,
known to found.
I like that one. I like this one too. But did anybody else see the one Nancy's showing us?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, I'll send it out tomorrow.
Okay.
And then, so I put the link in here because this is one of the things that they talk about was the body mass index, just for you to track. And then the waist to hip is another one, but I haven't found that to be particularly useful. But it's supposed to be another way of kind of a measurement thing. And then measuring your chest and your waist and your hips and your thighs. And then I added pant size because I thought that was, when I get from a 16 to a 14, and then, I mean, that's kind of to me, that was my, and these can all be changed. You know, all of these columns can be changed. And then no,
Or add to them.
what's that?
Or add to them.
Or add to it. Yeah, you can change your columns. You can do whatever you want. And then I like, this is more recent. This is one that I created because I started tracking my calories and my carbs and my water. So, you know, I just needed something. I had it all over the place. You know, I was tracking things all over the place and I couldn't look at it and look down a line and see what it was. So my watch gives me steps and exercise minutes and exercise distance. And then I always put in where and any notes that I have. And then I also started adding my weight on Wednesdays. So just on Wednesdays would be where the weight would be over here. But, you know, you can, again, whatever it is you're tracking, you know, whatever you're trying to track, I found it to be useful because then I could look back and say, oh, well, my carbs were really high that week and maybe that, but, or vice versa. The week that my carbs were low, that was the week that I lost weight. So it was more I think, you know, I come from a special ed background, and as a special ed teacher, you're always keeping data. And my dad did too. My dad was a data, he would love this kind of thing. You know, he was always keeping data. So, you know, it's just a way, it's not something you have to do, but it's certainly, you know, something that helped me as I'm doing this. So I'll check and look and see what I wonder what I did attach. That's interesting.
You know, it looks like I got that, but it looks like it comes in and it just the top one shows, but
Yeah,
that's mine.
Yeah,
there were tabs I could slide over to the next. It was like a folder, and the next one was the next folder, and the next one was the next folder. But depends on how you get it. I've got a Mac, so
yeah.
I don't know.
Were these
was
the
that
folders?
an Excel? Is that an Excel sheet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even on my iPad, it comes up that way, but I haven't looked on my computer. But yeah, it's folders on mine. So
Yeah. These are what that looks like. So it's just another resource, you know. I think what you have to do is you kind of have to find something that works for you. The other one is that I created a private web page. This one you have to have a password. And I think I sent you the link. It's imluchurch.org/weight loss God's way. So WLGW. And the password, so if you go to the page, password is WL weight loss God's way 2020.
All caps, Nancy?
Yeah, all caps. Yeah.
Okay.
And so,
Is God's way typed out?
no, it's
Or
just
is it
all
just
abbreviations. WL.
GW
Yeah.
WLGW.
Yeah.
2020.
2020. Yep. And this was just the introduction, you know, what it was all about. And then I had put here, this was supposed to be the link to the Zoom calls that we were making, which we ended up changing tonight. And then these are the three calls that we've had so far. So I just added those in there. But the idea too is just, if there were other resources, I could put a link to that. I'll see if I can put a link to the spreadsheet there too, you know, so it's like one place to go find things. You don't have to go 100 different places. So
I have a notebook and a pencil.
yeah, right.
I'm simple.
I know. So those are just a couple resources. Any questions about that? I'll send those to you tomorrow too. I'll just send you the piece again.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you've done so much work.
I really
Well, you know, it's
appreciate
things that I just have developed over the year, you know, the year and a half that I've been doing, year plus that I've been doing it. And they were things that I found that were helpful. Some of the things like the one sheet that Marilyn was pointing out, now that's one that's like for every month you kind of say, okay, what are my goals going to be this month? And then at the end of the month you go, well, you know, how did I do this month?
Yeah.
So that was another nice one as well. And that's the one that comes from the program. So maybe just take a little bit of time and talk a little bit, first of all, about how are you doing with your goal for the challenge, your whatever that particular goal was, your exercise or not eating or after 7, or how's it gone for you? Somebody want to start with that?
Well, I can.
Okay.
Um,
What was your goal?
my goal was to exercise more.
Okay.
And so when I started this, I was doing 5 minutes on the treadmill and consistently 15 minutes on the bike. I've never deviated from that one. But I am up to 20 minutes on both of them.
Yay.
Good for you.
And that is a huge accomplishment for me
That's
to do
great.
20 minutes on the treadmill. And
Job,
last
man.
night I had my first night on my Fitbit of 6,009 steps.
Congrats.
Nice.
So
Oh,
I
good
walked a
job.
lot yesterday.
You know what I found when I started tracking my steps was I started walking more. I mean, like instead of saying I'm planning my trip, I'd go here to there. I'd go, well, I'll just take a few more steps out there because then I can have. It was like, oh, it's like,
I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I find myself walking more around the house or going outside and walking around the yard and
yeah,
Well, before this all hit, I made it a point to park in the back of parking lots when I went
Yeah.
places. And it's
That's
amazing how quickly you can rack up those steps when you do that. But now we're not doing that, And I had originally said I was going to walk, and then I ended up having this surgery and that stuff on my face. So I switched it, remember, to not eating candy at my mom's. And I will say something, I have not done that the whole time. And I don't even think about it when I walk in the door now. I walk right by those candy bowls,
all right.
Even though she got chocolate covered raisins, I haven't had one yet. So
No.
yeah, so I think I'm past that. I think I'm past that, And that was kind of when I started gaining weight, was when we moved my parents here. And that's been 2 years ago, and I gained 20 pounds in 2 years. So that's a good, so now I've got to set a new goal for this, going on now, because I feel like I've got that one. So, I'll go back to walking now.
Yeah.
Which is, I got to push that one. Albert goes really early in the morning now. I'm just not an early bird. Now that it's cooler, you can go during the middle of the day. So
Yeah. Good.
awesome.
Val, what was your goal?
Mine was to not eat after 7 o'clock.
And how are you doing with that?
I'm not doing too bad when I'm at home by myself, but I was at my aunt's house for 9 days. So sometimes I did eat after 7 o'clock, but it wasn't like I had like a lot. It was just a little something.
Yeah.
To hold me over, yeah. And then she always snacks at like 8:30, 9 o'clock and has her drinks and all that. So it's hard to sit there and see her snacking and doing her thing, and I'm sitting there trying to, okay, candy after 7. It's like,
Yeah.
sounds like
so that was a challenge for me, but I didn't gain when I was over there, so that's good.
That is good.
yeah, for sure.
that's
Being
good.
gone 9 days, that is great.
Yeah.
That's when I have the hardest time, is when my routine is out of,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
out of whack, or I'm at
Yep.
somebody else's house
And
and
then
they
I
have
had to eat her,
dessert,
I had to eat her food that she had there. I had to eat whatever she had. So
Yeah.
I tried to, I ate her cherries. That was my go-to snack for if I ate after 7 o'clock. I had a handful of cherries.
There you go. And they take a
Has
while.
anybody else found that when they're at someone else's house too, is that you don't want to be rude, so you eat
Yes.
stuff you shouldn't, and you don't even want it, but you don't want it, or just our personalities and our being a nice, kind person says that, it's like, okay, well, I'll have that, and it's
Not
tough.
me. I don't
It's
have that problem.
hard to,
Yeah.
it's hard to stand up and say, I can't have that because I'm, watching what I'm, eating and stuff. It's difficult to do that at somebody's house when they've prepared something and you say, no, thanks.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
makes you feel like you're rude. Yeah.
Well, my thinking was I'm on vacation,
Yeah.
because I was at my aunt's house. So that was my excuse when I was over there. I was like, oh, well, I'm on vacation. I'm over at my aunt's house. I'm not at home
Yeah.
or whatever. So I was trying to use that as an excuse to eat after 7 o'clock sometimes.
You'll
Yeah.
have to reread that chapter, I guess, huh?
You have to
Yeah.
I talk
That's
about
one of them.
it's
That's
not
one
the
of them I have to
same thing.
reread. That's
Yeah.
one of mine to reread. Excuses.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jess,
Mine,
how about you?
Oh, I made in my goal of not eating after 7. It didn't accomplish it every day, but I made great progress in curbing that habit. So I'm looking forward to eliminating it soon.
Good.
So I feel positive. I didn't succeed 100%, but I did way better than I have for several months. So
Good.
it was a plus.
Good. How about you, Marilyn?
I think this last week I've done better than I have all before. Mine was the exercise. And I do exercising Monday, Wednesday, Friday with 2 other people. And we do Pilates. So I get the Monday, Wednesday, Friday in, but it's the other days that I kind of had struggled with. But yesterday I walked for an hour actually at Garnet Ghost Town.
Oh, wow.
So that was really good. I was very pleased that I could do that. I don't think I could have done that before I started Pilates. I think I've gotten stronger with that. And so the other days this week, I went out and walked. I have a park not too far from our house that's fairly flat, and so I went walking there. So I've been able to do that, and I'm trying to do the not eating after 7 too, because that's something I need to work on. And most of the days, I think there was only one day where I screwed up on that, but everything else I've been doing okay. My downfall that I really have to figure out a strategy for is M&Ms, peanut M&Ms.
Don't buy them.
Don't buy them.
I got myself to not buy the marshmallows, so then I substituted M&Ms for the marshmallows.
No, no.
Yeah, it's like I gotta.
You know what I when I was taking one of the classes that she had the Kathy Morenzi, the author, she had this little video about good snacks. She has so many resources there. But one of them that I kind of clung on to was dark chocolate, the dark chocolate ones. And that is still my, just and they're like 60 calories, and they usually are good. Either that or sometimes I'll have some almonds with them. So it's kind of like almonds. And so it's about 100 calories maybe by the time you put them together. But that's been and the dark chocolate, from one of the classes.
Bar?
Yeah, you can either get the big bar, but I got Ron last time. I said, give me the little individual ones because I do better with, just
Portion control.
Portion control, yeah. And you open it up, and that's what but they say that dark chocolate doesn't have the sugar that causes the craving, because sometimes what you're doing, what it is you eat that chocolate or you eat that sweet, and then you want more and you want more. So it feeds itself. Yeah. So
I heard that green tea also helps with that. And I found that if I can get into having green tea, but I have to have the green tea early enough because it has caffeine. And if I eat it at night, which is when I like the M&Ms, I'm awake all night, and then that starts a different thing. So I'm trying. I'm on my good days, I substitute tea for the M&Ms, and I like.
Try eating pickles. Snack on a pickle. Pickles is a good snack. It doesn't have a lot of calories.
Pickles is 0 calories, I think. Albert gets those little those little Dove dark chocolates, and he keeps them in the refrigerator. And I found if you pop one in your mouth from the refrigerator, if I'm really having a craving,
Oh,
it
it'll
lasts
last
longer because it takes it longer to melt and stuff. And it just, unless, you know, you chomp, chomp, chomp it. But, you know, but he feels like they don't make him crave as much as when he was getting the milk chocolate ones. He started getting the
Oh,
dark
that's a
chocolate.
good idea. Thank you.
But the higher the cocoa content, if you can buy a dark chocolate bar and you like with a higher cocoa
72%.
content, the higher the cocoa content, the less craving it will give you, you know.
Okay.
And those aren't real high, those Dove ones, but they are pretty, you know, pretty good. But put them in the fridge or the freezer even, you know.
Yeah,
Great
I
idea.
will. Thank you. That's a great tip.
Sometimes with M&Ms, the thing with M&Ms isn't so much the craving is I start doing this, and it's more this than it is eating. It's that I want to be doing something, you know, and or not doing something. I feel like I need to be. One of the things I do too is and I started this in Weight Watchers. This is the rolled gold pretzels, the little straight sticks.
Yeah.
I can have an ounce of them, and that's quite a big bowl, and it was only 3 points. And that's a great snack when I feel like I want to be munching like that. I'm not hungry. I have the munchies or something. And as long as I'm counting them in my count, so they must not be real high calorie count. I don't know calorie because I do points with Weight Watchers. But those are a great little snack, just the straight little pretzels. And I love them now. They've got the little salt, the little crunch, you know, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
it's
they're
kind of a
chewy.
good snack. My only problem is once I start snacking, then I want to keep snacking. It isn't a matter of,
Yeah.
you know, so I try not to snack.
That's why I added the 7 o'clock deadline, you know,
Yeah.
to try and help me stop that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Audrey, you made it.
Yeah, Audrey.
We were
Hi,
just
ladies.
talking about what our goal had been for the month and how you'd done. Do you want to share anything?
I was down. I released 2.
Yay.
That's,
Yep.
Yeah, good for you.
I started at 150 and I ended at 147. So 3. I'm
Good.
down 3. I forgot to weigh myself this morning. So I'll have to weigh myself tomorrow morning to find out if I released any more. But after what I cooked for dinner tonight, I don't think so.
What'd you make?
It's a dish I have been making forever. It's called Yorkshire chicken. And it's got this breaded pudding that is just
Oh,
so yeah. I made a spinach salad to go with it, so that was healthy.
There you go. There you go.
At least
So
I had a
what-
little bit of cream there.
so what was your goal? Did you do the exercise or the
My
after
goal is
7?
tracking the food on my fitness.
Oh,
pal
that's right.
app. Yeah, and I love doing that. I'm gonna keep doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now do we need to set a new goal, Nance? If we feel like we've attained
Yeah.
it, if not, stay with that same one.
Yep. Yeah. Pick one or yeah. No more than 3, you know, just pick a couple of something. I really worked last month on water, drinking enough water. And so trying to get in that habit of trying to get those 8 glasses of water. So I felt like most of the time, that's why I like my little chart, because I could say, oh yeah, well, pretty much I did it. Or the days that I didn't were usually something else was going on. You know, if I'm home, I seem to do fine. But what I find are those they call them messy in the middle. You know, there's some place your routine is off. That's when I seem to have the hardest time doing it. But yeah, so
I don't remember what day I told you guys that I drank enough water, but I've been doing it since then. And
mhm.
today at the grocery store, I got those little Mio water flavorers,
Mhm.
and that really helped because they're 0 calories, but they give the water just a little bit of taste. And I finished all my water. I finished 80 ounces by 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Good.
So I was really pleased with myself. And I will be really mad if I have to get up more than twice tonight.
Yeah. How about some of the lesson parts that we did? Let me see if I can get my lesson. Some of the lessons on, you know, emotional eating, self-image, self-control, things that help you cause you to lose focus. Does anything strike you about some of those chapters that really rung true? You look in your book under emotional eating, has that, I sure see that if, if I'm stressed,
Me.
Yeah. I'm a
it's so
stress eater.
easy. So easy. Yeah. What is that emotion, underneath, underlying all of that? I think that's a big, big question. I love that piece about pausing, if you can just hold off for 10 to 15 minutes, just walk away.
Yeah, also realize if you pay attention to when you do that, then you'll realize afterwards that it did not help to eat.
Yeah.
It did not help. It did not do anything. It's kind of like saying you're going to have one Oreo and then you have 10 and then you still want more. When do you stop? Because you still
Yep.
want more. So you might as well stop after the first one, Same
Yep.
thing with emotional eating. If you look at it and you think about it, so you have to be conscious about your emotional eating because it's not going to help to eat. It's not going to make it better. Why is that? We think it will.
Yeah.
It usually makes you feel worse if you,
Yeah, because
after
then
you
you're
just,
mad at yourself. Yeah.
yeah. And physically it makes you feel worse because you've eaten all this stuff you shouldn't eat that
Yep.
doesn't, it doesn't help the emotion, and then it makes you physically not feel well. So,
Yeah, and then you're pissed at yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it affects your self-image and your self-control.
Yeah. They all tie together, don't they?
Yes.
They do.
Yeah, they do. They do.
They do. They do.
And then you've totally lost focus. So,
I think one thing that's been really helpful for me in all of this is just raising my awareness, bringing it a lot more to the forefront of my thinking so that I'm thinking more about my weight. And it has helped. My portion control is easier, it seems. I've still got a ways to go. I'm afraid to count my calories yet. That's why I'm doing the other two, because I can do those for sure now. And I'm working on my portion control. So just getting that whole awareness has been helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, even
I
getting
agree. I
it-
think that's the biggest thing I've taken away from all of the last few weeks is just totally being more aware of why and
Why?
how
Yeah.
I'm approaching it. Yeah. And the
Yeah.
why part of it for me right now is more important than counting the calories because it's
Yeah.
going to help me count the calories. And I've never really focused on that part before when I've gone through weight loss programs, the why. And this has really made me much more aware. And I think that it is going to help me be able to stick with a plan of losing weight because it's making me aware.
Yeah. And
Not just, okay, well, I can only have so many points today. I mean, I've done Weight Watchers too. And,
Yeah.
it's way more than just the, count points that you eat. And that's not something I've focused on in the past. So I appreciate this. And I appreciate, Nancy, that you've made this available to all of us in this fashion. I really do.
Yeah, it's been super. Well, and I think too, when you say that, because you talk about thinking about the weight, if you take it out of the thinking about the weight context, like you said, the why and the why
Yeah.
should I, or why, not only why, but why shouldn't I? What are the reasons for this and what are the reasons for not this? Then the weight comes off without thinking about it as weight. And then it doesn't seem so hard because you're not even conscious of, Nancy, you probably found that when you really started losing, it's like, wow, I wasn't even expecting this because I'm feeling better emotionally, everything. And so this is just happening,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can totally relate to that, Nancy Melby. I feel exactly the same way. I don't think about losing the weight as much, but it's the time and effort I put into following my Fitness Pal and logging in everything. And like Dick said today, we did yard work for a couple hours this afternoon, and he said, "Boy, a chocolate milkshake sure sounds good. What about a large latte from the Dairy Queen? Would you like to go and get one?" I looked it up in my Fitness Pal and I said,
And you don't want to go get one.
No.
660 calories and 61 carbs.
Yeah.
Forget it. It's not
You'd be better
happening.
off with the
Yeah.
And we chug our water instead.
Yeah. One of the first things I learned was I did not want to drink my calories or points, you know. And you know, one of the things they told us too, people are having a hard time getting their water. I don't know when you're counting calories, but they did tell us that we could have some iced tea with no sugar or anything in it, and it could count as some of your water, but just not to make it all of your water, because you still need that water to cleanse, because it does take your bladder a little more to break down the iced tea. But then we could count, if you drink 2 big glasses of iced tea a day, you can count those towards your water, not just, you can't make it all tea. So, you know, if somebody's having trouble with that, you know, that might be a thought too, because I love iced tea, you know. So
yeah, we were camping and I don't know, the water in our camper just I don't know, it just never tastes very good. So I had some tea bags in there, and so I just put a mint tea bag in my. I was having trouble drinking my water because it just tasted so terrible. So I finally made it to be mint iced tea, and then it was a little easier to do that.
yeah,
I
instead of drinking that.
interesting to on day 17 when they talked about don't allow yourself to be too angry, too hungry, too angry, too lonely, and too tired. A halt, you know, just to keep, you know, I sure can tell when I'm tired, it's much easier to do it. Be attuned to when we might be the most vulnerable. So important. That's what you guys have been talking about. It's the awareness, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you feel like you want to eat, get up and do something else. And I think we're aware of that now. You know, whether you can walk, whether you can, just don't bake cookies.
Yeah.
Don't.
Well, you can bake them, you just can't eat them. That's what you can't do.
Yeah, that's not possible in my house.
I know.
I know. And then I thought chapter 19, they talked about having an accountability partner. You know, so when I'm doing the weight loss God's way, I have 2 accountability partners, which are kind of interesting. One lives in Minnesota and the other one lives in Las Vegas. And so it's kind of interesting because sometimes the piece that I find is, and they're a little different. I'm finding their politics are a little different than mine. So we just don't talk politics. But
Sounds like me and my sisters.
but you know, it's, you know, when we talk about something, or like I don't hear from them. So one of our kind of our accountability is that at the end of the day, I share my calories, my carbs, and my steps with them. So that makes sure that I get on there and do that, write that down. You know, I go into my MyFitnessPal and I have it all written down, and kind of makes me reflect every day. And they're doing that also. And one of them is doing a Daniel fast, which I'd never heard of, but it's more of a it's more plant-based. It's a plant-based, so no meat, no animal-based. And she's trying that before. She's doing it as a fast part of the, anyway. So it's interesting to hear from them, but they also will call me on it. You say, you know, you don't have to worry so much about the number of the weight, you know, how do you feel, you know? So that's something you might think about. There might be one of you, you know, here that you might ask somebody else, another person here, to be your accountability partner. And it's like, you know, sometimes I'll just text them and say, this is, you know, I'm in this situation here, you know, just pray for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Just call on me, Marilyn, when you need to get rid of those M&Ms.
You know, Nancy, when you talk about not being the number, you know, I found when I was like 260 pounds and I lost 50, that I had to almost stop. I mean, I still did all the same stuff. It was okay that I didn't lose anymore because my mental mind had to also adjust to where I was. You know, like I said, I used to go in the dressing room and take size 16s when I was wearing a 12. And it took them every time for a long time. So I had to kind of adjust. So it's okay to lose 5 or 10 pounds and then see how long, I would just say, okay, now let's see if I can keep this here for a couple months before I made another move to go, to maintain. And it made it easier because I maintained that weight for 2 years till my mother moved here with her candy bowls. And then there I am blaming, just like that chapter says, somebody's my problem. But it just to maintain and keep it there because I needed that time too before I moved on further,
Yeah, that's
And
a
I
good
think
point, Nancy.
sometimes you need that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel pretty good right now. I feel like I'm comfortable in my clothes, I'm comfortable in my body, but yet that BMI says, I should be down under 145. And so that's kind of where I've made my goal right now. Okay. But I don't know what the right goal is. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think you're obese though. The BMI says you're still obese.
Well, I was when I started. Now it says I'm overweight. So it's obese and then overweight and then.
Yeah. Why? I don't understand why it still says you're overweight when you're. That's discouraging.
Yeah.
But I went down to Nancy. I did that one time and I went down to 135 and I couldn't hold it there. And some people asked me if I had cancer, if I was sick or something. You know what I mean? Because as an older person, my face looked way thinner than when I was young and I weighed that. And so the last time I went, I decided that 150 was a really comfortable place for me to be and I could hold it there better. And if I went lower, I just fought it all the time. So there you might find that too, that you might be comfortable right where you are. And you may like being lower and you may not. It's all, like you said, it's all about how you feel.
Yeah.
Not the number, definitely. You look fantastic.
Well,
you really do.
Yeah.
I feel
You look
really
so
good.
cute in church or outside on Sunday at church, though, when you walked in, your little denim jacket and stuff, you look so cute. And from behind, there's not saying this to be mean, but I wouldn't have even known it was you if I hadn't known that was you,
I know. I've had several people say they don't recognize me, especially when you wear a mask, until they hear my voice.
Did you get rid of all your other clothes, Nancy?
No, they're still sitting there. I haven't figured out what to do with them, but
burn them.
Want some?
Burn
Have
them.
a fireplace. Burn them.
No,
them.
I spend too much money on some of them. There must be somebody that wants them that will, at least for a little while, and then they can pass them on to somebody. I don't know. They're sitting there though. I'll find a person, somebody. So.
Should you ever go back and put one of them on?
Oh, I put some pants on the other day that were really tight before, and they were, and Ron was just laughing at me because I had these pants on and holding them out, and I was like, holy cow.
I had this denim jumper I wore when my kids were in high school. And I thought it was so cute, but it was really the only thing that fit me. I probably weighed 265 pounds. Wow. And I lost down to about 150. And when I went to Weight Watchers, I took it with me one day. 3 of us could get in it.
Whoa.
It was just like, and I didn't realize how big it was, and it was like, but it was my favorite thing because it was so comfortable because it just hung, I could wear a t-shirt under it and just hung loose, you know what I mean, by a denim jumper.
Yeah.
And it just it was crazy. And I didn't realize till I pulled it out. They said, bring something, when I made my goal weight, bring something that you wore when you started this. And I did, and I got it out and it was like, holy crap, this is huge. And I didn't even realize, you don't realize you were that big,
Yeah.
You just don't. Sometime I'll show you guys a picture.
It was really helpful when you said that the other week, Nancy, because I had the opposite problem. I was always super skinny when I was growing up. And even when after I had my son, I was back down to 120. And, over the years, slowly it's gone up. And I realized after your comment that I was still seeing myself as skinny, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I looked at some of the pictures and I'm not skinny anymore.
Well, I've gone up and down a few times, but this time I caught myself with 20 pounds instead of going up that 100 again. And I've done that like 3 times, but it's just, I did the other day, I said to Albert, I've gained weight, but if I think about where I was before, I'm still better where I am, but I definitely feel better 20 pounds down from here, 150. I feel so much better. I move better. I sleep better. My muscles don't even ache in the morning and at night like they do now. Sometimes I get up and think, oh, how did I sleep? And when I got my weight down, I really didn't feel like I had any of that. It was pretty amazing. And why that doesn't stop us.
Yeah.
You could think, oh no, I'm going to hurt again if I do this, but you still do it,
Yeah.
and stuff. So So it's just, it's a mind game, and it is a mind, it
It
is
is.
very much a mind thing. And with God's
Mhm.
help, this is making it much easier, I think. Focusing on God and focusing on what he wants the best for us, and that he's there to help us and stuff like that. I've prayed about stuff before, but not like this is entwining it, this study. So it's kind of neat.
Yeah, I agree. It really does include those kinds of things.
Yeah, again, thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome. Well, that kind of leads us to, where we go next. So, one of the things I did want to share with you, and let's see, I'm hoping this will work, is um, the Weight Loss God's Way, the 21-day challenge. I wanted to give you a sneak peek of what it looks like, what a course looks like, because you kind of saw what the book looks like, right? And so the 21-day course looks kind of like this. You get it, and you get a daily video. She's very creative, so she's created some cool things that you spend some time in prayer. So these things are all kind of the same as what we've done. But each one has, and I'll go to one of the lessons, and so you can kind of see. So there's a scripture reflection, there's a devotion. Those are the same kinds of things. She has a little lighthearted 5-minute video that's just kind of funny. She have a place to reflect in your journal. She also includes, I think one of the things that somewhere along the line that I really appreciated, she included some daily workouts, and also some music, worship music, and then a chance, an opportunity to share with other women about what's going on in the comment session. She also talked about the MyFitnessPal, but I just wanted to show you one of the lessons. So, and I'm hoping that somewhere along the line, I'm going to do this one again, but I'm hoping that, eventually you need to kind of look at so she's just hilarious. She has these funny little videos that last about 5 minutes and talk about whatever the point is. And then a thing to reflect on, basically the same things that are in the book. Choose one of these things like we talked about. Then she has a music video. So if you like Christian music, she's got some really nice videos. She's got a prayer. Then she also includes a daily exercise. And she lives in Vancouver, so she does these exercises all over the place, but you can, do them from your home. She has a meal planning, she'll include some meal planning. She has some really good videos there, and then she'll have some recipes, which, these are, I found some of the recipes are pretty good, and some are not so. But each lesson, so there's a few more bells and whistles in it than what we have, what we can do in this course. The other thing I think you could say that if you join as a member, which is $59 a month, which seems like a lot, but it's like $2 a day. So if you were buying coffee or you were buying that package of M&Ms, how much does that package of M&Ms cost? She has a lot of different courses that you can choose from. You've got the place for your courses. There's a Facebook page that she has. There's just tons of courses that she has, that she posts and she does things on. There was one at Christmas, like how do you manage around Christmas eating? That was a good one. They have a weigh-in Wednesday, just like we've done, but then it's with the bigger group. There's a month-end check-in. There's a whole section on healthy eating and recipes. She's got a video library of tons of videos. They also, if you're a member, you can participate in a Bible study on Saturday mornings. I don't do it because those are the days that Ron and I do things. But it's a Bible study and it's a devotion and it's about an hour, and you can do that. They have worksheets, and you also get coaching from her if you're interested in doing that. and then there's a page. So you can see that the web page, there's tons of information plus support. I really appreciate it. On my dashboard, dashboard. But there's a place where you can track your profile, you know, where you are and what you're doing. So, oops, I missed. Got to go back to my share here.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry for your loss, my dear. And if I can do anything else for you next week, I'm going to make you both have salad.
Oh, I see.
That's on my list.
So, let's see, where was I? Go back to my PowerPoint. Huh, can't find it. Hang on just a minute. Got to find my PowerPoint again. So that is the 21-day challenge, and you do get a 10% discount if I send you the link. There's a Mark's coupon code, so you can get a 10% discount if you sign up, and I'll have to send you, you have to use the link I send you to get it. But there are lots of things in it. So I've been doing it for a year in November, I guess I did it. I've been doing it, and it's been really useful. Then the second thing is we're going to do the book study again. We'll repeat what we did this month, and you're sure welcome to join that. It'll be on Thursdays, not Wednesdays, for our Zoom calls, because Molly scheduled the Zoom room for Wednesdays at 7 for, she's offering, I don't know if you saw the newsletter today, but she's offering some courses there. But I would just say, whatever you do, find you know, whether it's an accountability partner that you can continue to talk back and forth to. The Weight Loss God's Way, what I appreciated is you can keep growing. You know, they have a course called Breakthrough that comes after this one, and it breaks it down even further, you know, helping set your vision of what you want to look like and what you want to feel like, and what do you value, and you know, some of those things. It really starts getting into the meat of who you are and what your relationship is with God. So those are some options. I'm supposed there's others too. Any questions anybody has about anything? Any thoughts about, is anybody going to do the book study again? Or you think Marilyn signed up?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
as well. And I'm not sure if I signed up or not.
If you
have to look on the
I
link.
didn't see you yet. There's two of them on the page there. So there's the one for this one, and then there's a second one. But if you're not sure, let me know and I'll just go in and check. But you don't.
I think I'm going to go through the book at home again and work on it myself for a little more intently, maybe a little more slowly even, and kind of focus on it a little bit and see what I can get with that. So,
okay.
And then if not, I might come back. Who knows? I'll see. But right now that's how I'm going to plan on doing it.
Okay.
It's a great book.
It is. It has a lot to say, and
yeah, and I just don't feel like I did it as well as I should have. So.
Well, it's worth. I mean, I've got more out of it than this is my third time through it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
time I get something a little bit more. Yeah, it's worthwhile. I think finding, you know, what I said to Ron, I said, look at the people that are part of this group, and I said they're also often the people that are providing treats when we have fellowship. When we get back to fellowship, will fellowship look different? Because you know,
Yes, it will.
we might. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, do we even need to have treats? Could we just visit with each other? We talked about that one day. Why is it everything we do, we feel like we have to put food out, you know?
Yeah, do we need to? And we can't right now. So, you know, we seem to be doing just fine without it. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Anybody have any questions?
I think there will always be treats.
Yeah, we're Lutheran. What can we do?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be coffee and cookies. I mean,
it's inherent in a Lutheran. It's just what we do.
Well, I think the fruit was a good option, you know, to have stuff like that.
oh yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, like the mozzarella sticks or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I want. I've been trying to change how I'm doing treats with my grandkids,
Yeah.
because why am I, even though I say that I really want to get away from those sweets, that's what do I give them when it's time for snacks? Sweets.
Yeah.
So, the other thing I would I think I'd hope you'd stick with the Facebook page and, post some things. We can kind of stay in touch there too about how things are going, and you come across some ideas like that. I'd love to start a, a Pinterest page or something that has to do with healthy snacks. So if you think of some good
Yeah.
kid snacks,
That's a very good idea, Nance.
Or
I
a
just,
blog page that people could post on would work better than a Pinterest
yeah,
page, I think.
yeah, that's a
You
good
know,
idea.
the other people could post on, not just everybody's an administrator in it. That we did that with our family one time, and it works really nice. And people can write stories, about what they're doing or what's happening and so it's
Ooh, a blog idea. That's a great
a
idea.
blog would be a great idea.
Yeah, that was a part I had trouble with the Facebook page. Was it seemed like, I don't know, how did you guys feel about the Facebook page when we, give commenting on each of those lessons? Was
I
that
liked it.
useful?
Yeah, I thought that was a real good idea.
Yeah, I had trouble finding it. It would, like, even though I was the administrator, I had a hard time finding when it was, the topic for the day. It was like it was Facebook but I wonder about a blog page, Nancy. I wonder if you had that.
Yeah. Alex did that when he went to India on a global mission, and it was the way he kept all the people in the church informed. It was awesome. You can go and read one, you can go and read 5 that you've missed. You can go through them and, do stuff like that. You can read what you want, and you don't have to read what you don't want. And so it was kind of cool.
Huh.
Nancy,
Yeah.
Nancy Coulter Murphy did that when he went on his
Right.
Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he?
mission.
Yep.
Yes.
Same thing. Yep. Yep. It's an easy way to look at it, isn't it, Nancy? It's a very easy way to look at and go back and go over things on the blog.
Yep.
feel like.
Maybe I'll do some research into that. Maybe I'll try that kind of an option.
Yeah. I think I'm more of a Facebook, I call myself a stalker. I don't put a lot on Facebook, and even though our page was private, it's just not, I'm not in the habit of doing that. So I didn't say a lot because I just don't do that. I don't like all my personal stuff out there. I mean, and I know this one was private, but just because that's my habit on Facebook, I watch stuff and I see stuff, and it's the way I keep in touch with my sisters and stuff. But and they show pictures of their little kids, but I don't post a lot. So I didn't on this just because that's kind of my habit, So that could be hard too, for that fact.
Everybody else? Any other suggestions for the next time I do it? Anyway, thing you liked and things you didn't like?
It was all good. I mean, everything you did was good, and you gave us so many options. You sent it in an email and you put it on Facebook. So I mean, we had all kinds of options, and you have the text messaging and all that stuff. So, once I figured out how to turn my dings off of that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
In settings.
I know, but I didn't know that. I didn't know you could do that, and I've had these from my sisters, and they're like bing, 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 and I said, oh my gosh. So Nancy told me how needed to turn the notifications off.
Yep.
And I didn't know I could just specifically turn one notification off, because I leave my phone next to my bed at night because my kids live far away and stuff, and so in the morning, if somebody started something early in the morning, it was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we all learn from each other.
But see, I learned something new. I can turn and so I still got them all. I just didn't get a bing every time. So I ran and checked, so that was good.
Well, how's everybody feeling? Are you feeling like you've made it's been worth doing?
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's definitely been worth it.
It's been
Yes,
really
it
fun.
sounds like
What I needed.
Good.
Too much. So
Good.
it got dark while we were in here, didn't it?
It did, didn't it? 8:30. Well, I
Nancy,
suppose we ought to.
Nancy, where do I sign up for this this book study again?
I'll send you the email and I'll put it in there, the sign up if you
Okay.
want it. Yep. It's also on the it's on the Emmanuel homepage under Connect. If you go to the
Yep,
Connect
yep.
link.
Okay, that's where I saw it.
Yep,
Okay.
it's on the Connect link. Yep.
Make sure when you get your, what'd you get a permit for? Antelope? No.
Yes, the envelope A tag.
Okay, make
Which
sure when you
is
get them, you
needed.
post it on the church thing so we can see them because we're not there to hear about it. We usually get to hear about it at church on Sunday. Make sure and post pictures or tell us that you
Oh,
got
we
those
will.
because I always
We will.
enjoy hearing. I always enjoy hearing that from you. So
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
we'll be there to see you to know. So
If we all get what we're thinking we're going to get, try to get bucks this year. If it goes,
okay,
then
Good
we'll
deal.
take a big family picture.
good deal.
Well, thank you, ladies. It's been really a delight. And
Thank you. It was good getting
Thank
to
you,
know you.
Nancy.
It was good getting to know the people that I didn't know that well.
I know.
You know, and
It
it's
is.
been really, really nice.
Well, and Molly's doing some classes too. You might look at those if you want to be
Yeah.
connected too. So she's going to do them on
Yeah.
Wednesday nights. So there's some more options. Stay connected.
Okay. Someday we'll be together again.
I know.
Yes.
That's right.
Bye.
Good night. Bye. Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome.